So hello and welcome to this special Saturday Sivananda yoga class, celebrating 2 years since I came back having completed my teacher training. So welcome to you all. And do pay attention to how you're feeling today. Your practice is at your own risk. We'll be doing some maybe different things to what you've normally done, so there'll be some lighter options. Do take those if that's right for you. Be tuned into how your body feels. It's absolutely fine to miss something out if it's not what your body needs today. So when you're ready, take yourself to lying down. Come into a good Shavasana pose. So that's feet out to the corners of the mat, hands away from your body, palms turned up. Letting your head rest down. Feel free to place a cushion or a block or something under your head if that will allow you to be more comfortable. And once you're lying down, relax, just letting everything go. During the class today, we're going to be doing the classic Sivananda class, which contains 12 key postures. But Sivananda isn't just about the postures. Sivananda is all about 5 different elements. The first element is proper relaxation. It's about taking the time to let your mind and body rest and relax. And in a yoga class in particular, that's important so that your body is ready for the posture and ready for each posture that we do. So take proper relaxation now, making sure your shoulders are relaxed, hips relaxed, hands relaxed, heels relaxed. And then bringing your attention to your breathing. Focus on the breath helps the mind to relax. Being aware of each inhale. Being aware of each exhale. Your mind will almost certainly wander away from that. When you've noticed it's wandered, just gently bring it back. There's no need to be cross, just take your attention back to your breathing. So Fiona, bringing yourself to a comfortable Shavasana posture when you're ready. And then we're going to just warm up our hips, ready for some seated pranayama in a moment. So bending your knees, bringing your feet in towards you. Feet hip distance apart. Maybe taking your arms a little further out. And then as you next exhale, taking your knees over to the right hand side. Just let them drift down as far as gravity takes them. And then as you inhale, bring them back to the center. And on the exhale, taking them over to the left. And then keeping that movement going with your breath. Every inhale, you're coming back to the center. Every exhale, down to the side. Keeping your awareness and attention within. You might be aware of your hips and where you feel some stretches, particularly at this early time of the morning. Many of you I know who practice my classes, it's generally in the evening when we're a little bit looser, so you might find this is a little bit tighter than usual. So just notice and be aware. Taking one more to each side, and then when you come up from the left hand side next, that's your final one. Then stretching your legs out and reaching your hands up above your head. If it's comfortable to interlace your hands, pointing your palms away from you, then do. Just pressing your toes forward as you stretch your arms back. Stretching as long as you can, feeling your lower back lift a little away from the ground as you stretch long. Then drawing your toes towards you, pressing your heels away, full-bodied stretch. Then relax and release, bring your hands by your side, coming up to sitting. And then from sitting, bringing yourself up to standing. So just a little bit more warming up before we take a seat. I think I'm headless nearly there. So with your hands relaxing by your side, feet hip distance apart, and then when you're ready, picking up your right knee, placing it back down, and then the left. If you wanted to, you could take a hold, drawing your knee in towards you if your balance allows, releasing and lowering. And then just taking that movement in your own time, alternating legs, hugging the knee in as close as you can. And then what you could also do is extend your arms out. So you take your arms out as your foot lowers, bringing them back in as the next foot lifts. Aligning that maybe with the breath. So you inhale as you come wide, you exhale as you draw your knee into your chest. Noticing that the further back you take your arms, the more of a stretch you get at your chest, the more of a stretch you get at your shoulders. So taking one more of those to each side, finishing off with the left knee. And then lowering your foot, hands come by your side. From there, bringing yourself into a comfortable seated posture. So that might be a cross-legged posture. You may want to have a cushion or a block to sit on to allow you to be comfortable. We're going to take our pranayama, so you want to be seated so that you can relax comfortably and easily. You could have your legs stretched out in front if that's more comfortable. You could also sit with a wall behind your back. Comfort is key. So for our pranayama, we're going to take Nadi Sudhana, alternate nostril breathing. We're going to be inhaling to a count of 4, holding our breath for a count of 10, and exhaling for a count of 6. Some of you may find that those counts are a bit longer than you need, so you feel free to maybe adjust a little. If you want a little bit longer on the inhale, take a bit longer on the inhale. If you want to cut your exhale a bit shorter, then again, do what allows you to be comfortable. So to operate the nostrils, if you take your right hand and lower the first and second fingers down towards your palm, leaving your ring finger and your thumb to operate your nostrils. Bringing your hand up to your nostrils with your ring finger against your left nostril, thumb against your right nostril, letting your elbow relax. Knowing that if at any point you feel uncomfortable practicing Nadi Sudhana, then just lower your hand and take breath through both nostrils. Also, final point, when you close your nostrils, you don't need to jam them tight shut. You're just closing them enough so that you redirect the air to the other nostril. So with your hands in position, we're just going to take a couple of breaths. If you're comfortable to close your eyes at any point, then please do. We'll take a couple of breaths through both nostrils first. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Closing your right nostril, inhale left. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Close your left nostril and hold. I'll quietly count the 10 seconds to myself. Open right, exhale right. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6. Inhale right. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Close right and hold. Open left, exhale left. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6. Inhale left. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Close left. Exhale right. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6. Inhale right. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4. Close right. Exhale left. Om 1, Om 2, Om 3, Om 4, Om 5, Om 6. Inhale left. left. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4. Close left. Exhale right. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5, on 6. Inhale right. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4. Close right. Exhale left. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5, on 6. Inhale left. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4. Close left. Exhale right. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5, on 6. Inhale right. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4. Close right. Exhale left. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5, on 6. Final round. Inhale left. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4. Close left. Exhale right. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5, on 6. Inhale right. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4. Close right. Exhale left. On 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5, on 6. Keeping your eyes closed, let your hand drop down to your lap. Taking normal breaths through both nostrils, just being aware of how you feel having practiced Anuloma Viloma, a calming, balancing pranayama. And when you're ready, opening your eyes, maybe stretching your legs out. And then bringing yourself up to standing, ready for our sun salutations. Coming to stand at the top of your mat. Bringing your feet together. Pressing your feet down into the ground as you lift the crown of your head up towards the ceiling or the sky, depending on where you are. Letting your shoulders relax. Tilting the top of your chest slightly up towards the ceiling. Just taking your head back, so taking your ears back a little, bringing your neck nice and aligned. We'll begin with 2 breaths here before we take our first round. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, bringing your palms together at the center of your chest. Pressing your palms against each other, lifting your elbows, relaxing your shoulders, still pressing your feet down towards your mat. Then reaching your arms up towards the ceiling, looking up between your hands, lifting your arms higher to the ceiling, and then tilting your rib cage upwards so that your rib cage tilts up, but your abdomen and lower back are still pointing forwards and pressing forwards. From your hips, stretching forward and all the way down, keeping your arms lifted for as long as you can, but as soon as you need to, lower your arms, bending your knees so that your fingertips touch the mat, letting your neck muscles relax so your head hangs heavy, relaxing your whole upper body over your legs. Taking your right leg all the way back and lowering the knee. Lifting your gaze, relaxing your hips down as you lift your chest up. Tucking your right toes under, sending your left foot back. So coming into a plank, your hips are low, they're level in line with your back of your neck and your heels, keeping your knees lifted, maybe a little bit of core, so drawing your navel towards your spine, then lowering your knees, followed by your chest. Make contact with your chin or your forehead on the ground, then pressing forward as you lift your face and lift your chest. A little cobra here, elbows in close, shoulders easing back, then toes tuck and hips lift. You can take your hips back to your heels a little first if you want. Hips lift on high to the ceiling. This is our first down face dog. Your heels press down, your hands press down into the mat, pushing the mat away from you. Easing your chest back towards your knees. Looking between your hands, bringing your right foot through between your hands, taking your left knee down. It's fine to bring both knees down first before you bring that foot through. It's also fine to help it through as much as you need to with your right hand. Letting your gaze lift and your hips relax. Then bringing your left foot through, coming into your forward fold again, letting everything hang heavy over your legs. Then bending your knees as much as you need, reaching your arms up, let them lead you up, coming all the way up, looking between your hands, tilting your rib cage once more to the ceiling, then hands come down. Inhale, exhale, palms pressing firmly together, shoulders relaxing, elbows lifting. Reaching your arms up, looking between them, tilting your rib cage towards the ceiling, lifting your armpits up and back. Then from your hips, stretching forward and all the way down. Fingertips touch the mat, neck muscles relax, head hangs heavy. Sending your left foot all the way back. Knee down, let your gaze lift. Tucking your left toes under, sending your right foot back. Coming into your plank, press the ground away from you, stretch your heels back, keep your knees nice and lifted. Then lower your knees down to the mat, bring your chest down, keep your little lift in your hips if you can. That helps you to then press forward, lifting your face, lifting your chest into cobra. Then toes tuck, hips lift on high into down face dog. Heels press down, hands push into the mat. Then press your hands away from you to help your armpits come back and down towards the ground. Tilting your tailbone up to the ceiling as your heels press down, stretching out the back of your legs, sending the back of your thighs towards the wall that's behind you. Then looking between your hands, bringing your left foot through, taking your right knee down, lifting your gaze there, bringing your right foot through, relaxing into your forward fold. Then reaching your arms up and back, looking up towards the ceiling, stretching tall. Then hands come down. Inhale, exhale. So we have 5 more rounds of sun salutation. The next 5 we're going to flow with the breath. If 5 rounds of sun salutations is more than you need, then what I suggest is when you've done enough, then take a break for one of the rounds and join back in on the next one. So feet are together, hands are relaxing, your crown of your head's lifting to the ceiling, ready for our first round. We begin each round with a rest breath, so make the most of it. Inhale, exhale, palms pressing firmly together. Inhale as you reach and stretch up and back, showing your heart to the ceiling. Exhale, stretching forward and all the way down. Fingertips touching the mat, neck muscles relax. Inhale, right leg all the way back, knee down, lift your gaze. Hold your breath, send your left foot back, finding plank for a moment, looking between your hands. Exhale as you lower, knees then chest to the ground. Inhaling, pressing forward, lift your face, lift your chest, shoulder blades ease back. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lift to down face dog, hands press forward as your heels press down. Inhale, right foot through, left knee down, let your gaze lift there. Exhale, left foot through, forward fold. Take this as a moment of relaxation. Inhaling, reaching and stretching up, looking between your hands. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, that's your rest breath. Exhale, palms press firmly together. Inhale, reach and stretch up and back. Exhale, forward and all the way down. Make contact with your fingertips on the mat. Inhale, left leg back, knee down, lift your gaze. Hold your breath, right foot back, coming into plank, shoulder blades ease down your back. Exhale as you slowly lower. Knees then chest. Inhale, face and chest lifts, shoulder blades ease back. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lift on high as your heels press down. Inhale, left foot through, right knee comes down. Let your hips ease down to the mat. Exhale, right foot through, forward fold, relaxing for that moment. Inhale, stretching and reaching up and back. Exhale, hands down. Inhale. Exhale, palms press together. Inhale, reaching and stretching up and back. Exhale, all the way forward, all the way down. Inhale, right leg back. Knee down, lift your gaze. Hold your breath, left foot back. Strong plank. Exhale as you lower your knees, then your chest. Inhale, pressing forward, lift your face, lift your chest. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lifting on high, chest towards your knees. Inhale, right foot through, left knee comes down. Exhale, left foot through, forward fold, fingertips in line with your toes on the ground. Inhaling, reaching, stretching up and back. Exhale, hands down. Inhale. Exhale, palms pressed together. Inhale, reaching and stretching up. Exhale, forward and down. Knees bent as much as you need, fingertips touch the mat. Inhale, left leg back. Knee down, hips relax. Hold your breath, right foot back. Coming into your plank, a little bit of core applied. Exhale, lowering knees, lowering chest. Touching your chin or forehead to the mat. Inhale, face and chest lifts, shoulder blades ease back. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lift on high, into down face dog. Inhale, left foot through, right knee comes down. Exhale, right foot through. Really let the exhale relax you to the ground. Inhaling, reaching, stretching up and back. Exhale, hands down. We're halfway, so we'll take a little bit of an extra breather here. So just take a couple of good breaths in your own time. And then we'll do our final 3 rounds. As I say, feeling free to miss a round out if that's what your body needs today. Crown of your head's lifting, your feet pressing down, shoulder blades relaxing, hands relaxing. Next round. Inhale. Exhale, palms firmly pressed together. Inhale, reaching and stretching up and back, showing your heart to the ceiling. Then from your hips, exhale, forward and down. Everything relaxes. Inhale, right leg back. Knee down, lift your gaze. Hold your breath, left foot back, coming into plank, looking between your hands. Exhale, lower your knees, then your chest. Inhale, face and chest lifts, shoulder blades ease back. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lift on high, heels press firmly down. Inhale, right foot through, left knee comes down, lift your gaze. Exhale, left foot through, forward fold. Inhaling, reaching and stretching up and back. Exhale, hands down. Inhale. Exhale, palms pressed together. Inhale, reaching and stretching up. Exhale, forward and down. Fingertips touching the mat. Inhale, left leg back as far as you can, then knee down, lift your gaze. Hold your breath, right foot back. Coming into plank, heels press away, lengthening you out. Exhale, lower your knees, lower your chest. Inhale, face and chest lifts. Little cobra. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lifting on high, hands pushing the mat away from you. Inhale, left foot through, right knee comes down, lift your gaze. Exhale, right foot through, forward fold. Inhale, big breath in as you reach and stretch up and back. Exhale, hands down. 2 more rounds. Inhale. Exhale, palms come together. Inhale as you reach and stretch up. Look between your hands. Exhale, forward, all the way down to the ground. Inhale, right leg back. Knee down, lift your gaze. Hold your breath, left foot back. Looking between your hands, shoulder blades easing back. Exhale to lower, knees, then your chest. Inhaling, face and chest lifts. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lift. Hands press forward, guiding your knees back, head, chest back towards your knees. Inhale, right foot through, left knee comes down. Exhale, left foot through, forward fold, head, hands heavy. Inhaling, reaching and stretching up and back. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, exhale, palms pressed together. Inhale, reaching up and back. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, left leg back, knee down, hips relax. Hold your breath, right foot back. Coming into your plank. Exhale as you slowly lower, knees then chest. Inhale, face and chest lifts. Elbows and shoulder blades ease back. Exhaling, toes tuck, hips lift on high, heels press down. Inhale, left foot through, right knee comes down. Exhale, right foot through, forward fold. Inhaling, reaching and stretching up and back. Exhale, hands down. It's the final round. Inhale, exhale, palms together. Inhale, reach up and back. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, right leg back. Knee down, gaze lifts. Hold your breath, left foot back. Finding your plank, shoulder blades easing back. Exhale, knees then chest to the ground. Inhale, face and chest lifts. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lift on high, hands press forward. Inhale, right foot through, left knee comes down. Exhale, left foot through, relaxing for that moment. Inhaling, reaching and stretching up and back. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, exhale, palms together. Inhale, reaching and stretching up. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, left leg back, knee down, hips relax. Hold your breath, right foot back. A final plank. Exhale as you lower your knees, then your chest. Inhaling, face and chest lift, shoulder blades ease back. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lift. Final down face dog, hips lift, heels down. Inhale, left foot through, right knee comes down. Exhale, right foot through, forward fold, head hangs heavy. Inhaling, reaching and stretching up, taking your arms up and back. Exhale, hands down. Taking your feet apart, turning your palms to face forward for 2 cooling breaths. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Wonderful. From where I was looking, those sun salutations look magnificent. Thank you. Then from there, come to lying down on your mat. So finding a good, comfortable posture. Letting everything rest. Turn your palms up, let your feet relax apart. So this is back to proper relaxation, one of the 5 elements of Sivananda Yoga. 2 of the other elements we've just practiced. One is proper breathing, which we did during our pranayama, and as we've used during the whole class, that focus on the breath. The 3rd is proper exercise. Our sun salutations and all the different postures and asanas we'll do gives us that 3rd element. So in a Sivananda class, we're practicing those 3 elements: proper relaxation, proper exercise, proper breathing. We'll come to the other 2 at the end of the class, but for now, just take a little bit more proper relaxation, letting everything go. So next we're going to take some leg raises. Setting yourself up by bringing your feet together, bringing your hands by your side with your palms turned down, letting your shoulders relax down towards the ground, then drawing your toes up towards you so both feet are flexing, pressing your knees down into the mat, and then with your legs good and strong, keeping them good and strong with toes, feet flexing, knees pressing down. As you next inhale, lift your right leg up towards the ceiling, keeping it straight, so only lifting it as high as it will come straight, and as you exhale, lowering your right leg down. Next inhale, lifting your left leg, so pressing your heel away, pressing your right heel away from you as well, and as you exhale, lowering the left leg. Next inhale, lifting right, taking it as far back as it will go while still being straight. Exhale to lower. Inhaling, lift left. Exhale, lower. One more to each side. Next inhale, lift your right leg. Hold it there, keeping your toes flexed, taking that leg as far back as it will easily go. And then lifting your head, taking your hands and interlacing your hands behind your right thigh, taking your head down if you can, and then easing your right thigh back. So now your hands are helping that leg to come back, keeping it straight. Unless you hyperextend or it's uncomfortable in the knee, in which case you might want to put a little bend in that knee. Using your arms, so you can just draw it back any more. And then you can stay here, but if you want a final bit to this posture, as you next inhale, lift your head, climb your hands up your leg. You might be able to take your toes, you might be nearer your knee. Wherever you are is the right place. And then ease your knee back towards your chest and lift your chest up towards your knee. Keeping your leg as straight as is comfortable. Keep that left heel pressing away so the left leg stays active. Taking one more breath, maybe lifting your chest one final time, drawing your knee down one final time, and then release your leg. Lay your head back down. Exhale your right leg down to the ground. Have a reset there, so both palms by your side pressing down, both feet together, shoulders relaxing, feet flexing, knees pressing down. Next inhale, lifting your left leg. Taking that leg as far back as it will go, just using the muscles of the leg. And then lifting your head, interlacing your hands behind your thigh, letting your head relax down. And now bringing that straight leg back, using the leg muscles and also the strength of the hand. Keep your right leg active and pressing away. It's fine to stay here, but if you want more, on your next inhale, lift your head, climb your hands up your leg, holding as high up your leg as you can reach. Then easing your knee to your chest and lifting your chest towards your knee. Keep your breathing nice and steady, keep your face relaxed, keep your shoulders relaxed. Taking one final breath, lifting your chest as you take it, drawing your knee down as you take it, and then release your leg, lowering your leg to the ground. Once your heel lands, relax your feet apart, turn your palms to face up. And just allow yourself a few breaths there. As you take those breaths, maybe just tuning into where you feel the results of the stretches that we just did. So maybe on your hips, maybe on your legs. And then preparing for some core work by taking double leg lifts. So as soon as we lift both legs, then suddenly that really requires this core strength to make that lift happen. So bring your feet together once more, have your hands by your side, so back to where we were for single leg raises. Drawing your navel towards your spine, flexing both feet towards you. Now where your hands are now is the medium setting. If you wanted to lighten the load so that this work is in good control for your core, you can take your hands underneath your buttocks and sit on your hands. If you wanted to make it stronger, you can take your hands behind your head, interlacing your fingers, bringing your elbows down towards the ground. So have your hands wherever works for you. You might want to start medium and adjust from there. Feet flexing, knees pressing down, navel towards your spine, hands where you want them. As you next inhale, lifting both legs up towards the ceiling, taking them as far back and as high as they'll go. Then as you exhale, slowly drawing them down, keeping your navel drawing towards your spine, nice and steadily. Now having done that, if that feels too strong even with your hands underneath your buttocks, then you can lighten the load a little more by having your knees bent and taking this with bent knees. So we're going to do about 7 or 8 more. So you want to adjust the strength so that you can sustain 7 or 8 more of those. Navel to your spine, feet flex, knees pressing down, in your own time with your own breath. As you next inhale, lifting your legs. And then with your own breath, when you're ready, exhaling, lowering your legs. And then just keeping that movement going for the next few breaths. Remember to keep your navel drawing down towards your spine and just tune into what's happening in your lower back. If you can feel strain in your lower back, then you need to lighten the posture by bending your knees or having your hands underneath your buttocks. It should feel controlled, and all of the work should be going on in your core. Next time you find your legs lifted, if you hold them there, and then we're going to take 3 more, and I'm going to offer you a count. You can go faster than my count if you need to. Navel towards your spine, hands wherever you've got them, coming down to a count of 6. Om 6, Om 5, Om 4, Om 3, Om 2, Om 1, touch down. Just take a rest there. Just let everything relax for a moment. Then hands pressed down, toes towards you, knees pressed down, navel to spine. As you next inhale, lifting back up. Coming down to a count of 7. Keeping your breath going as you descend. Om 7, Om 6, Om 5, Om 4, Om 3, Om 2, Om 1. And touching down. Relax for a moment. We've just got 1 more of these. Stretching your legs out, toes towards you, hands pressing down, navel to spine. As you next inhale, lifting your legs. Take them as high as you can, and we're going to come down to a count of 8. Om 8, Om 7, Om 6, Om 5. Keep your navel drawing in. Om 4, Om 3, Om 2, Om 1. And touch your heels down, let your feet relax apart. Turn your palms to face up, letting every part of you relax and rest. Bringing your feet together, take your arms up overhead. You can have them separate, or you could interlace your hands, pointing your palms backwards, pressing your toes forward, stretching out as long as you can. So you're feeling a stretch on the top of your ankles, maybe over your abdomen, in your armpits, stretching out a little longer if you can, and then release. Relax, bring your hands back over by your side, and come up to sitting. So in a Sivananda class, headstand is a key part. We're going to be taking half headstand in a moment as an option, with headstand for those who are experienced headstanders. The warm-up that we do in a Sivananda class to headstand is to take dynamic dolphin. This just lets everything get warmed up. It's also a strengthener in preparation for building up to headstand. So if you come to kneeling on your mat, so kneeling up on your mat, I'm a bit headless there, aren't I? But let me, I'll be fine in a second. So kneeling on your mat, then take a hold of the opposite elbow with the opposite hand. That's to allow you to get the right measure for this. And then take that down onto your mat, a good bit in front of your knees, so that your shoulders end up directly above your elbows. Then extend your arms out in front of you and bring your palms together, taking a nice firm grip. So your palms are together, you're gripping tightly with your hands, and your arms are pressing firmly down into the mat. So from your elbow to your wrist to the side of your hands, that's all pressing down. Easing your shoulders back a little, drawing your navel towards your spine, and then as you next exhale, move your body forward so your head passes over your hands, taking your head as far forward as is comfortable and as far as you can be comfortable to get back, confident to get back from. Then as you inhale, bring that back to the center. Next exhale, take your hips back towards your heels, stretching backwards, keeping your arms pressing firmly down into the ground. And then take that with your own breath, so coming back on an inhale, and then take that with your own breath. As you exhale, you move away from your hands. As you inhale, you come towards your hands. And if you want to strengthen this, you could tuck your toes under and lift your hips, taking the same move with your hips lifted. However you have your feet, keep your arms, that triangle of your hands and arms firmly pressing down into the ground. So that's your anchor for this posture, just taking it as far as your shoulders are comfortable to go. Keeping your navel drawing up towards your spine to give you strength at the core. Taking one more round. Then once you finish that round, if your knees are lifted, lowering your knees, sitting back into child's pose. So hips close to your heels, bringing your forehead to the ground. If your forehead doesn't easily touch the ground, you could make fists and rest your forehead on your fists. So if you've got a block or a brick, you could rest your forehead on a brick. Whatever allows you to rest down comfortably. Then bringing your hands underneath your shoulders, pressing into your hands to come to sit up, either sitting on your heels, or if that's not comfortable, then you can lift up out of your heels. So I'm going to now give instructions for coming into half headstand. If you are familiar with full headstand and want to take that, please do. If you're going to take half headstand with me and you're not familiar with full headstand, only take headstand if your neck and shoulders are injury free. So any problems with your neck and shoulders, then I wouldn't recommend that you take half headstand. To prepare for half headstand, again, take that grip of your hands onto your elbows. That lets you get the right measure, the right distance. Then bring that down just a little bit in front of your knees. So not quite as far as we took it last time, so it's a little bit closer than that. Then extend your arms out and interlace your fingers, but now keep your palms nice and wide so you're creating a shape that you can then drop your head into. Then lifting your hips up a little, bringing your head down, and placing the very top of your head into your hands so that you have got a nice, you can feel the hands on the back of your head, you've got a nice firm grip there. and then pressing down firmly with your hands and with your elbows. Pressing down so firmly, in fact, that as you can almost feel you taking the weight off your head, with as close to the crown of your head on the ground as you can. So it's fine then to stay here, because as you'll feel, you're getting a good stretch, you're getting some weight through your neck. But if you wanted to make this stronger, you could then tuck your toes under, keeping your arms pressing down, and lift your knees. Resting the top of your head onto the ground, keeping your arms pressing down, keeping your hands pressing down. Just taking a few breaths there. If that's uncomfortable in any way, then bring yourself down. Holding for another breath. And then if you're in half headstand, lowering your knees and bringing yourself back to sitting on your heels and child's pose. If you're in full headstand, then bringing yourself out when you're ready and coming into child's pose on your mat. So just taking another couple of breaths in child's pose. As you exhale in child's pose, let your armpits relax down towards the ground. Let your chest relax down into your knees or down towards the ground. Then bringing your hands underneath your shoulders, pressing into your hands to lift up, and then stretching out, ready for shoulder stand. So coming to lie down, just take 2 or 3 breaths in Shavasana first. Shoulders relaxing, feet relaxing apart, palms turned up. So for shoulder stand, we're going to be coming into full shoulder stand and halasana. If you regularly come to my classes and want to take the lighter option, then you can do half shoulder stand followed by salabhasana. Sorry, not salabhasana. Half shoulder stand followed by the pose of tranquility as we normally take in class. Shoulder stands for you again if your neck and shoulders are in good shape, and also if you do not have high blood pressure. If you have high blood pressure or any issues with your neck and shoulders, then you might just want to take a lift of your legs. You can help that by placing something underneath your hips to help you to elevate, or you could take your shoulder stand by a wall. If you're going to come with me into shoulder stand, then stretch your legs out, bringing your hands in close by your side, bringing your elbows in close. Elbows is the most important bit to have in close. Then from here, we're going to lift our hips. You might want to do that by lifting your legs, then your hips and coming up. Or you might want to have a bend of your knees so that you can then get a little bit of momentum to help you up. As soon as you've got a lift of your hips, bring your hands onto your lower back. And then with your legs initially so that your knees are directly above your face, just hold there for a moment or two and allow your shoulder stand just to settle, just to get the measure of how it's feeling today. Knowing that if it's not right for you to take shoulder stand today, that you could come back out by taking one hand, then the other to the ground, and slowly releasing out with control, using your hands as a brake. So if your shoulder stand is feeling comfortable and you want to take it further, making sure that you stay looking directly up towards your knees. I'm looking out towards you on the screen, but you should be looking up towards your knees. If you want to come into full shoulder stand, feed your back up through your hands so that your hips lift and your legs can then point directly up towards the ceiling. So you're making yourself as vertical as you can, as straight as you can up towards the ceiling, keeping your gaze in towards your body. And then just holding here for a couple more breaths. Knowing that from here you could stay here. You could go back to half shoulder stand by letting your back feet back down so your hands are near your buttocks. Or if you want to come into halasana, we'll prepare for halasana by, first of all, as you next exhale, taking your right leg down behind you towards the ground.
keeping your left foot pressing up towards the ceiling. Just bringing that leg as close to the ground as you can. Then as you inhale, lift your right leg back up towards the ceiling. Next exhale, taking your left leg down behind you. Inhaling, lifting your left leg. Then just making sure you've got a good solid shoulder stand here, maybe just getting a firmer grip on your lower back. And then if you want to come into full halasana, as you next exhale, take both legs down behind you. Just letting them come to wherever they come to for you. That might be to the ground. That might be a little bit off the ground, just taking it as far as it's comfortable. Know that you can come back into full shoulder stand if that's right, or back into a half shoulder stand, or come out. If your toes do touch the ground, you could then take your hands down to the ground, or interlace your hands, taking your fists down to the ground, but only taking that if your toes are touching the mat. Wherever you are, just taking another couple of breaths. Then if your hands are off your back, bring your palms back onto your lower back. If you're in halasana, plow pose, on an inhale, lifting your legs back up towards the ceiling. If you have the energy, just reset your shoulder stand. Then bring your legs overhead so that the weight comes off your hands. With the weight off your hands, you can take one palm down to the mat, followed by the other. Your palms are now your brake. As you slowly, with control, drape your spine back down onto the mat. Coming down nice and slowly, landing your hips, then stretching your legs out. Turning your palms to face up, letting your feet relax apart. And then taking a few breaths there, letting everything relax. Again, just tune in. Where do you feel what you've just done? Where's your body just giving you some sensations, telling you the story of the posture you just did? And not judging what those sensations are, just being aware of them as they are. Then as a counter posture to our shoulder stand and halasana, for those who took it, we're going to take bridge pose. So bending your knees, bringing your feet in towards you. Feet are hip distance apart, taking your hands down, just seeing if you can graze the middle of your heel with your middle finger of each hand. That shows your feet are roughly in the right place, nice and close so that your shins are vertical. And then with your feet hip distance apart, turning your toes in very slightly so you're a little bit pigeon-toed. Lifting your tailbone up towards the ceiling so your lower back presses into the mat. And then on an inhale, lifting your hips away from the ground. So you're peeling your hips away and your back starts to peel away from the mat. Just seeing if you can lift your hips a little higher, pressing into your feet, and then turning your attention to your upper arms, pressing your upper arms. So from your shoulders to your elbows, firmly down, lifting more of your upper back away from the ground. Keeping your breath steady there. If it's comfortable for your shoulders, you could interlace your hands underneath you. And maybe just take a rock over to one shoulder side so you can fold and tuck the other shoulder under, and then doing that on the other side. That gives you a little bit of extra height. And then wherever your hands are, focusing on all 4 points of contact. So you're pressing your feet into the mat, you're pressing your upper arms into the mat, seeing if your hips will lift higher, seeing if your upper back will peel off the mat a little more. Taking one more good breath there, lifting if you can as you take it. Then uninterlacing your hands. Take your hands out of the way if they're interlaced. And then slowly drape your spine back down, sending your hips towards your heels so your spine drapes down elegantly onto the mat. Once your hips have landed, bend your knees, bring your knees onto your chest and take a rock side to side. Then lift your head up towards your knees, drawing your knees down towards your chest. Then taking your head back down, landing your feet down. and stretching out long again, ready for Matsyasana, the fish posture. The ultimate antidote to hunching forward over things like iPads and laptops and everything else, really opening everything back. So bend your knees, and lift your hips, taking your hands underneath your buttocks so that the palms are turned down, your thumbs are touching, pressing your hands as close to your feet as you can. Then stretching your legs out. With your legs stretched out, bringing your feet together. So stretched out good and long. Then pressing your upper arms down into the ground. As your upper arms press down, you'll maybe just feel your upper back lighten away from the mat a little. So press your upper arms down a little more, seeing if you can then deliberately lift your upper back, the middle of your upper back, right between your shoulder blades, away from the mat. Doming your chest up towards the ceiling a little as well. And then take your attention to your lower arms, from your hands, wrists to your elbows, pressing into your lower arms, pressing particularly into your elbow, bending your elbow, and as your elbow bends, your whole upper back will lift away from the mat. Your chest will lift up towards the ceiling. And once you've got that lift, you could let your head rest back, either all the way back so the crown of your head comes onto the mat, or maybe a little less so that the back of your head comes onto the mat. Once the head is in contact, keep the pressure down into your upper arms, into your elbows, so the weight's in your lower arms rather than in your head. Your head's just resting there, keeping your upper back moving away from the mat, lifting your chest up towards the ceiling, taking one more breath. Then bending your elbows a little more to let you lift your head, tuck your chin down towards your chest, and then drape yourself back down, releasing your hands and maybe taking a whirl round of your wrists just to give them a release after having sat on them. Wonderful. Bringing your feet together, arms up overhead, interlacing your fingers if that's comfortable. Have another good long stretch out. Really making sure you're stretching every part of you. Then release. Bring your hands by your side, coming up to sitting. So sitting comfortably just for a moment so we can release our necks after shoulder stand and after Matsyasana. So turn your head all the way over to the right. Keep your chin level so you're neither looking up nor down. Then bring it back to the centre. Taking it all the way over to the left. Back to the centre. To the right, as far to the right as your neck will comfortably and easily go. Back to the centre. And over to the left. Again, as far as it will comfortably go. And back to the centre. Wonderful. Paschimottanasana is next, so a straight leg forward fold. If you want to have a block or cushion to sit on so that you can comfortably sit with your legs straight out, please do take one. Also, if you want to have a belt to help you to ease forward, then please also do take a belt. Don't be shy of taking things that can just help you to ease more deeply into the posture. And once you're sitting comfortably with your legs stretched out, just taking your hands behind you, and come sideways on. Have your hands behind you so that you can be pressing into your fingertips, allowing you to lift your chest. And also maybe walking your fingertips in a little so that you can start to be bringing your upper body forward. So making the beginnings of that forward fold. Then as you next inhale, lifting your arms up towards the ceiling, stretching as tall as you can. Reaching and stretching up
And then as you next exhale, keep your arms lifted for as long as you can. Start hinging forward at your hips. Bringing yourself forward, focusing on bringing your abdomen forward. That's the main thing you're trying to move towards your feet. When you've gone as far as you can with your arms lifted, let your hands drift down. If you feel like you're still sitting pretty upright, then take a bend of your knees. Or if you've got any discomfort in your lower back, take a bend of your knees. And then everyone, for the next few breaths, as you inhale, ease your upper body forward, focusing on bringing your navel forward. As you exhale, relax your upper body down over your legs. Keeping that going with every breath. Inhale, ease your body forward to your toes. Exhale, relax everything down. If you've got a bend in your knees, you might find as you settle into the posture, you can then press your knees down a little more, pushing your heels away to straighten your legs. Your aim here is to get a really good stretch down the back of your legs. If you're feeling that, then you're doing the right thing. You might find your hands can move forward a little bit more as you warm up, as you relax more deeply into the posture. So take 3 more good breaths. This shouldn't feel tense. This should feel relaxed because you're only taking this as far as your body is comfortable to go. Take one final breath for good measure. A final ease forward, a final relax down. Then lift your gaze to look at your toes. Stretch your arms forward. As you next exhale, press everything forward. And then a big inhale as you lift yourself back up. Exhale, lowering your hands. And then bringing your hands behind you, with your fingertips pointing away, ready for inclined plane, Purvottanasana. If your wrists don't enjoy this, you can come onto your elbows and do inclined plane on your elbows. If it also feels to you like you should have your fingers pointing out to the side or in towards you, you're probably right, so you can move your hands to point where feels the most right for you. Then, wherever you are, pressing either your elbows or your hands down into the ground so you can lift your chest. And on your next inhale, lift your hips, pressing down into your hands or elbows, lifting your hips as high as you can. If that's stronger than you need, then bend your knees and come up into a tabletop. That will just lighten the load. If you're in inclined plane, pressing your toes down towards the mat, pressing your arms down, keeping your breath going, keeping it steady. Taking one more breath, lifting your hips a little higher if you can as you take that breath. And then as you next exhale, slowly bringing your hips back down. Then sitting up, taking a rotate of your wrists. Just giving them a release. And then preparing for the back section of a Sivananda class. So coming to lie on your front. And once you're on your front, let's take some more proper relaxation. So one hand on top of the other, resting your forehead onto your hands. And take a few breaths there. So we're going to start warming the back up with some cobras, Bhujangasana. So to prepare for cobras, bring your hands underneath your shoulders so that the tips of your fingers are lined up with the top of your shoulders. That should then mean your elbows are pointing up to the ceiling or the sky, and your elbows are nice and close. You can feel them against the top of your rib cage. Once your hands are in the right position, let your forehead come onto the mat. And then with your forehead relaxing on the mat, just take your shoulders up to the ceiling and then down towards your feet. So it's an up and back movement of the shoulders. Then as you next inhale, lift your face so you're looking directly forwards. Then as you next inhale, peel your chest away from the mat, lifting your face, taking your shoulder blades down your back, so that you're easing your chest forward and your head, letting your elbows and shoulder blades ease backwards. As you next exhale, slowly lowering down. We're going to take 2 more cobras.
So just take a breath there. Then with your forehead on the ground, take an up and back movement of your shoulders. Then on your next inhale,
Lift your face to look directly forwards. Then on your next inhale, slowly lifting your chest. Your arms are just relaxing on the mat, so you could lift them, but keep them balancing you. All this movement is coming from your back muscles. Shoulder blades ease back, elbows in close, chest eases forward as your elbows head back. 1 more breath, lift a little more if you can as you take it, and as you exhale, slowly lowering back down. We've just got 1 more to do. So the up and back movement of your shoulders
up to the ceiling, back to your feet. Then as you inhale next, lift your face.
As you next inhale, lifting your chest, peel it away from the ground. Nice and slowly, shoulder blades ease back. Then on this one, if you wanted to, you could take a press into your hands, allowing yourself to lift a little higher, but be aware of your lower back. Only come as high as your lower back's comfortable to go. Easing your elbows back, easing your chest forward. 1 more breath. As you exhale, slowly lowering down, bringing your hands underneath your forehead and resting a forehead or cheek onto your hands. And bringing your hands underneath your shoulders, pressing into your hands to lift up. I just want to show you what we're going to be doing next. We're going to take Salabhasana, locust pose. Traditional Sivananda locust pose. So for Salabhasana, you need to have you're going to be lying down on your front, but you're going to want your hands in front of you. And actually, when I was preparing for this class, I realised why I probably don't teach it so much in my own classes, because it requires you basically to have your hands down in this area in different positions, which is maybe why I haven't been teaching it. But anyway, this is a full Sivananda class. So your options for your hands. Now, traditionally, you'd have your one option would be to have your palms on the ground with your palms facing the mat, but that's really challenging. So one of your options is to have your hands, I would maybe have them pointing in towards you. Another option is to interlace your hands, so you've got a really firm grip, and bring them there. Or another option is to make fists with each hand, bring those fists together and bring them down. So palms flat, fists together, or one fist with your hands. So you can choose. But what you've got to then do is you've got to get lying on your front. You've got to then get your hands in the position you want and underneath you, with your hands touching underneath you, or your hands interlaced. Once you've got your hands in position, then bring your chin onto the mat. So your legs are stretching out behind you, toes pressing away. Your chin is on the mat, with your chin sort of forward, so you're feeling a stretch in your throat. Then we're going to start with half locust, pressing your hands down towards your knees. Then as you next inhale, lift your right leg away from the mat, keeping your chin on the mat, so peeling as much of your thigh away from the mat as you can, lifting that leg as high as you can. Then as you exhale, lower your right leg back down. Next inhale, lifting your left leg, peeling it away from the ground, keeping your hips level on the ground. As you exhale, lowering back down. 2 more on each side. Next inhale, lifting right. Exhaling, lower. Inhaling, lift left. Exhale, lower. Inhaling, lift right. Lift it as high as you can, peeling as much of the thigh away from the mat as you can. Exhale, lower. Final one, inhaling, lift left. exhaling lower. Then just readjust your hands so they're in good position, ready for the double. We're going to do double leg raise twice. If that's stronger than you need, then take single leg raise again. But if you want to take the double, hands are in position, in whatever position you found works, chins on the mat. We're going to take 2 breaths and then we will take the lift. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Next inhale, lifting both legs away from the mat. Lifting as high up to the ceiling as you can, and then pressing your arms down into the mat. Pressing your hands down, pressing your arms down. Lifting your legs as high away from the mat as you can. Taking one more breath, lifting a little more if you can on the inhale, and then as you exhale, lowering your legs down. Taking a couple of breaths there, knowing that if you have done enough, you can bring your hands underneath your forehead and take rest, or you could take a single leg lift less time. But if you have got one more, we'll take a breath first, so taking an inhale, exhale. Next inhale, lifting both legs. Pressing down in towards your hands, pressing your arms down. As your arms press down, can you lift your legs higher? Can you lift your hips a little bit more away from the ground? Pressing firmly down with your hands. Taking one more good breath, because I'm sure you are all breathing nicely. Then as you exhale, lowering your legs. Releasing your hands, and then bringing your hands underneath your forehead, placing a forehead or a cheek onto your hands. So the Sivananda back work in a standard class then finishes with bow pose, which just brings everything together nicely. Cobra works the upper back, really strengthening the muscles in the upper back. As you've just noticed, locust that we've just done really works the lower back. And then bow pose, where we take hold of our ankles, gives us the chance to work both ends, getting a good final back bend. When we come into bow, it's hard to reach your ankles, then you can have your knees bent, your arms lifted, and just be heading your arms up towards your heels, even if you're not able to catch a hold of your ankles. So preparing for bow pose, bending your knees, bringing your ankles in towards you, then reaching your hands around and seeing if you can catch a hold of your ankles. Ideally ankles, but it has to be your feet. And if you can't reach, then just have your hands heading towards your heels heading towards your hands. If you can, then just bring your forehead to the mat. It might be that it's your chin that you bring down, just so you take a moment to rest before we take the lift. Then as you next inhale, lift your face so you're looking forward. And then as you next inhale, lift your chest, lift your shoulders, and lift your knees. Your knees may not get the message to lift, but send the message. Make the effort to lift your knees, lifting your shoulders, keeping your breath nice and steady. If you want more, you could start to press your ankles into your hands. That might let your knees lift a little higher, seeing if your chest can lift, seeing if your shoulders can lift. Then as you next exhale, releasing down, letting go of your ankles, bringing your hands underneath your forehead and resting your forehead or a cheek into your hands. So I always think, having warmed up the back into bow, it would always be a huge shame just to do it once. But if you want to rest this one out, please do. But if you want to take another bow, then if you get yourself ready, bending your knees. Now this time, if you can reach your ankles and get a good lift of your knees, you could make it harder for yourself by bringing your knees together. You don't have to do that, but that will make it stronger. Reaching your arms, lifting your arms, reaching them around to catch a hold of your ankles. Then just letting your chin, or if possible your forehead, just rest for a moment. Then as you next inhale, lift your face, look directly forwards. As you next inhale, lifting your chest, lifting your shoulders, lifting your knees, sending the message, even if they don't pay much attention, and keeping your breath steady and smooth, maybe pressing your ankles into your hands, lifting your knees higher, lifting your chest higher. Keep the breath going. You might find a little rock as you breathe. Taking one more breath. Have a lift of your chest, your knees and everything else as you take that breath. And then as you exhale, release, lowering down, hands underneath your head, placing a forehead or a cheek onto your hands. Really resting down here, being aware of your breathing, be aware of your heart rate beating in your chest. So giving them a moment to come back to resting. Then bringing your hands underneath your shoulders, pressing up to hands and knees, and just coming back then to sit onto your heels. We're only here for a moment, because from here then take your hips over to the right hand side, and with your hips over to the right hand side you can then pick up your left foot and bring it over to the outside of your right knee. So we're getting ready here for a twist, Ardha Matsyendrasana. Now have a little shuffle and a shimmy, and just see if you can get some decent contact between your left buttock and the ground. If you don't get good contact with your left buttock and the ground, then your spine's not straight and you don't want to be twisting. So don't be afraid, if that's the case, to stretch your right leg out in front of you. That will then bring that left buttock in contact with the ground, your spine is straight and everybody's happy. So then wherever you are, just draw your left knee in towards you, lifting your chest up towards that knee. And then take your left hand behind you. Have your hand in nice and close to your lower back, pressing into that hand so you lift your chest. Then as you next inhale, lift your right arm up towards the ceiling. Stretch and grow as tall as you can. Then as you exhale, start turning your chest around to the left. Your right arm lowers as you do that and comes against your left knee. You can either have your knee against that, your elbow against the knee, or you can take a hold with your hand, whatever feels right for you. Keeping your chest easing round to the left, letting your left shoulder ease back to help you to come round. Looking over your left shoulder with your chin level, so neither looking up nor down. And then just using your next few breaths. So as you inhale, press into your back hand and straighten. As you exhale, see if you can ease yourself round a little more. If you've got your elbow against your knee, that gives you a tremendous amount of power to twist, but use that wisely. Focus more on using the upper body strength to ease round rather than the brute force of the elbow against the knee. You might find here, if you've got both legs bent, that you could take your right hand down and maybe take a hold of your knee, your right knee, or maybe even, I can't reach, but maybe your left ankle. Then wherever you are, just taking one more breath, a straighten and an ease round. Then to come out, as you inhale, lift your right arm, reaching up, untwisting as you lift. Exhale, lower that arm down. Then coming back onto your knees. And coming down, taking your hips over to the left hand side. Then bringing your right foot across your left knee. Having that shuffle and a shimmy, can you get good contact with both buttocks? Now it's the right buttock that's going to be the tricky one. Do straighten out the left leg if you need to. Taking your right hand behind you, pressing into the ground so that you can lift your chest up and bring it forward towards your right knee. Then as you next inhale, a big stretch up with the left hand, stretching and reaching tall as you can. Then keep that height as you exhale, twisting your chest around to the right, bringing that elbow down against the knee or hugging the leg, taking your chest around, taking your right shoulder back, taking your gaze over your right shoulder with a level chin. Then you can use your breath. As you inhale, pressing into the backhand and re-straightening. As you exhale, easing, and I mean easing round a little more to the right. And then if you want that final step, you might be able to take your left hand and reach down to your left knee. But only do that if you still feel in control and nice and straight. If that distorts everything and spoils everything, then don't take that option. Just taking 2 more breaths, 2 more straightens, 2 more ease arounds. Then as you next inhale, lifting your left arm up towards the ceiling, untwisting as you do. Exhale, lowering your left hand. Uncrossing your legs, having a shake. Wonderful. And then from there, we're going to take crow pose. So regulars to my class will know we regularly take this posture for our core, which I call dynamic crow. And it's called dynamic crow because this, when we come to this point, is crow pose, but on our backs. And today we're going to get a chance to do crow pose on our fronts. If you're going to take crow pose, so this is an advanced posture, so you might want to play with coming into it, but not then take it all the way. If you are going to though, you need to have a cushion of some sort to place in front of you. And the cushion does 2 things. It means that if you do overbalance and face plant forward, that you will have some cushioning, but also it will give you confidence to bring your weight forward, and that's what it takes to come into crow pose. So some sort of cushion in front of you. Oh, you can't see my cushion, but my cushion's, let me just lower my camera down. I have my cushion in front of me. And then once you're there, bring yourself into a squat. So you're just in a squat, fingertips can be on the ground. So say you can come part way towards this, even if you don't take it all the way. Then bringing your hands down in front of you, so your hands are about kind of hip shoulder width apart, with your fingers spread super wide and your hands just turning towards each other a little. Then have your arms nice and bent so that your knees are resting against your upper arms. So they're just resting there for the moment. But you should feel some nice stability here. Your arms, your fingers are wide, your arms, your knees are resting on your upper arms, and you could hold here. The next phase of this would just be to start coming up onto your toes, so that you're starting then to bring your knee weight forward onto your upper arms a little more. If that's feeling good, you could maybe walk your toes back a little bit, so you're coming higher up and more onto your upper arms, so your elbows are bending a little more. It's fine to stay here. You're getting a good balance, but if you want more, you could then lift one foot, and if that feels good, lift the other. Your gaze wants to be just in front of you, not down at your hands, not down at your feet, and you might find you can then lift both toes, even if it's only for a moment, finding the balance, coming down. Oh, very nice. There's some wonderful crows going on there. Some wonderful semi-crows going on as well. If you have made crow, just take one more breath there. And then bring your feet back down. And from there, wonderful, bringing yourself to standing. I may do a little bit of crow in my online classes. I tend not to do them in face-to-face classes because we just don't, we won't have enough cushions in a face-to-face class. And it really is a good idea to have a cushion in front. Wonderful, so we've got 2 postures left. The first posture that we have left is a nice, comforting, relaxing forward fold. So bringing your feet hip distance apart, now come face on. Hands relaxing by your side. And then lifting your arms up towards the ceiling. Stretching tall, really lifting up. And then keep that upward pressure away from you with your arms as you then start to fold at the hips. So this movement's all coming from the hips. You're keeping your arms lifted for as long as you can. But when you can lift them no more, let them come down to the ground. Let your neck muscles relax. If there's any discomfort in your lower back, or if you feel like you're pretty upright, do take a bend of the knees. Then you've got some options here with your hands. You could take a hold of the opposite elbow with the opposite hand. If your hands will reach the ground, you could tuck your hands underneath your feet. So underneath, around, over the top of your toes. And that can help you to ease yourself down a little more. Or you could take your hands and take a hold of the opposite elbow with your hands behind your knees. Wherever you've chosen to be, then just use your breath so that every exhale you take as the chance to sink a little lower, a little deeper into your forward fold. The exhale's key here. The exhale relaxes our muscles, and as our muscles relax, then they're able to stretch. So take 2 more good breaths, allowing yourself to drift a millimetre or 2 low with each of those exhales. Then bend your knees deeply, release your hands from wherever you've got them, tuck your tailbone under, and with your knees bent, slowly return yourself back up to standing. Taking a roll back of your shoulders at that point. And then taking your feet nice and wide on your mat for the final posture, Trikonasana. So this is a Sivananda Trikonasana, which is slightly different to the regular, more Iyengar Trikonasana. So with your feet wide, they don't have to be to your max actually, just a nice good distance apart. You don't have to go all the way. Hands on hips, turn your left foot in and turn your right foot out. Then gently guide your hips back around to face towards the front. Then lifting your left arm up towards the ceiling. Stretch your left arm up, pressing your left foot down, particularly the outer edge of your left foot. So you're getting this sense of a stretch from your fingertips down to the outside of your left foot. Really keep that upward movement going in that stretch, as on your next exhale, you slowly start tilting over to the right hand side. Hands on your thigh, letting your hand drift down your thigh. Your left shoulder will want to come forward, but keep it easing back. When you've come as far as you can down your leg, then maybe start pressing your fingertips towards the left. That might ease you down a touch more. And then use your next 2 or 3 breaths. As you inhale, press your fingertips more to the right. And as you exhale, relax more down over the right hand side. Then as you next inhale, make it a big one, bringing yourself back up. Exhale, lowering your left hand, hands on hips, feet face forward. Shoulders relaxing. Turning your right foot in and your left foot out. Returning your hips to face towards the front of your mat, the long edge of your mat. Then lifting your right hand up towards the ceiling. Pressing the outer edge of your right foot down. So you're stretching out the right side. We'll stretch it even more in a moment. Taking your left hand onto your left thigh. Keep the uplift of that hand as you exhale, tilting over to the left. Left hand drifts down your leg. When you've hinged as far as you can, then press your fingertips over to the left, keeping your right shoulder easing back. So if there was a wall behind you, your right shoulder would be touching it. And then use your next 2 or 3 breaths. Inhale, pressing your fingertips over to the left. As you exhale, relaxing to the left a little more. One more breath. On a big inhale, bring yourself back up. Exhale, lower your hands, feet face forward, hands on hips, heel toe your feet back together. Maybe taking a quick shake of your legs, anything you'd like to do before you then bring yourself to final relaxation. So do find anything that will allow you to be comfortable, particularly maybe a cushion or block to put behind your head if that helps you to relax. Putting on any clothes if you are feeling at all cool. And then coming to a good Shavasana posture, feet out to the corners of the mat, hands away from your body, your palms turned up, your shoulders relaxing. Adjust this as you need to make it the most comfortable posture for you. So you might want to have your knees bent. You could maybe bring your soles of your feet together, letting your knees spread out to the side. Whatever allows you to be comfortable. And we're going to take a walk through the body, consciously relaxing, and more importantly, giving permission to relax to every part of our body. So first of all, taking your attention to your feet and toes. Just being aware at first of how they're feeling, then relaxing them, and as you relax them, say quietly to yourself, my feet and toes are relaxing. My feet and toes are relaxed. Then your attention to your ankles, seeing how they feel, and as you relax them, my ankles are relaxing, my ankles are relaxed. To your calves, calves relaxing, calves relaxed. Knees, relaxing, relaxed. Upper legs, hips and pelvis, lower back, middle back, shoulder blades relaxing, shoulder blades relaxed, hands and fingers, wrists, forearms, elbows, upper arms, shoulders, neck, back of your head, face, whole head relaxing, whole head relaxed, whole body relaxing, whole body completely relaxed. Keeping your body still for a few more moments, just gently bring your attention back. Just being aware of any noises that there are around you wherever you are. Then movement comes back with a wriggle of your fingers and a wriggle of your toes. Bringing your legs together, taking your arms up overhead for a gentle stretch out. So pressing your toes away from you, pressing your hands back in the opposite direction, very gently, just bringing life back. Releasing that stretch, bending your knees, bringing them one then the other onto your chest. Arms can come back over to hug your knees in, taking a rock side to side. Bringing that rocking to a halt so you can ease your head to your knees, drawing your knees down towards your chest. Our last stretch of the class. Then releasing, taking your head down, landing your feet down, and from there maybe coming by the right hand side for a breath or two and slowly coming back up to sitting. So thank you for sharing this class with me today. Namaste.